coverage you can count on. KOMU 8 News starts now.
Masks are making a comeback in mid-Missouri schools. This comes after some students organized walkouts and teachers voiced concerns over staffing issues. Today, Columbia and Jefferson City schools announced masks are back next week. Good evening, everyone. I'm Emily Spain.
And I'm Noah Klein. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm here live outside the CPS administration building. I actually spoke to those students who organized those protests across 3 Columbia public schools, high schools. I'll tell you how they're feeling about this new update in just a few minutes. But first, Kenton, you're tracking some snow. What's the latest?
All right, Noah and Emily, take a look here. This low pressure system is now getting into the United States out of Canada. It's here now in North Dakota. You can see there is that snow right to the east of it. As expected, it's still expected to track down here towards central and eastern Kansas, and that will give the bulk of that snow here for us here in central Missouri. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be at 32 degrees. Might even have some fog in the area. Then 45 tomorrow afternoon with a lot of cloud cover. Slight chance some of us already start to see some rain tomorrow afternoon. That will all transition into snow tomorrow night in about 24 hours from now. Let's track this hour by hour here for your first look. Here is 3 p.m. again tomorrow. Some of this already seen some rainfall in the afternoon. It doesn't really transition into snow though until we head into the evening hours. Here's midnight. You can see areas along and north of about Highway 24 at least, some close to I-70, starting to see snow already. Eventually by about 6-7 a.m. on Saturday, we are all under the snowfall. It will then slowly push out heading through the afternoon, the midday and afternoon time period on Saturday. I'll have a closer look at the timing of this system. We're going to be talking about accumulation and travel updates and everything else you should be thinking about ahead of the system coming up.
Okay, Kenton, thank you. Back to tonight's top story. Today, Columbia Public Schools announced when students go to class next Tuesday, they'll have to mask up again.
Yeah, that mandate's set to stay in place until February the 4th. And remember, this is a story we've been following for months, right? Some people wanted masks in CPS classrooms, others didn't. But really the newest and one of the biggest updates came earlier this week on Monday when students actually started walking out of class protesting CPS's lack of a mask mandate. They did it again today. Take a look at this video. It comes from Battle High School earlier today. Students from Hickman and Rockbridge also walked out. They teamed up to organize these protests across the 3 high schools. Tonight I sat down with the students who organized it all. It's a group of 10 about what this means to them and what they're going to do moving forward.
I'm really glad that our voices are being heard because that was the goal, and I'm so happy that this opportunity is there and that it's working out.
You imagine like weeks and weeks and weeks of advocacy being necessary, and then for them to respond so quickly. And by quickly, I obviously don't mean one day, but geez, they reached out to us, they heard us, and that says something. You know, it shows that students really can make an impact, and I think that's pretty cool.
It feels so good after, especially at Rockbridge, people always being on your back saying like, oh, it's not going to help. You're not doing any good. Just having a lot of bad comments. It feels good to be heard finally.
I was very surprised, but in a good way. That was impressive.
Whoever made the uneducated decision about taking the mask mandate away isn't going to have to live that every day-to-day life. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to have to sit through wondering who's got COVID, who's vaccinated, who's actually going to start wearing a mask. You know, I'd like for one of them to kind of sit through a day at one of their schools and one of the places they're affecting and see how they feel, you know.
Obviously, we're very excited, very happy to have this temporary mask mandate in place, but we aren't completely satisfied. We are working for a permanent mask mandate. And so we aren't really going to let up on the protest or anything. We will keep working until we see a permanent mask mandate put in place.
The school board voted to get rid of the mask requirement about a month ago. Parents and students on both sides of the issue spoke at this meeting, and some even protested before it. But since that vote, COVID-19 cases are setting records within the district. Take a look at this piece of data here. Back in December, when the school board decided to get rid of that mask mandate, the district's 14-day case rate, right, a key statistic they've been tracking, was nearly 50 COVID cases per 10,000 people. Well, now it's about 230, more than 4 times higher. CPS's 14-day tracker has been hitting record highs all week. Jefferson City School District also came out today and announced their mask mandate would also be coming back. That's going to start again on next Tuesday as well. KOMU8's Lucy Kale has been following that story for us all day. She's in the studio now after speaking with students about these new protocols.
After more than 2 months without a mask mandate, the students I spoke with at Jefferson City High School say they're thankful for the mandate.
There are so many people out.
Classes in Jefferson City schools are functioning at half capacity, and teachers are out with few subs to fill the spots.
I have a brand new class this semester, and I mean, there are supposed to be 20 of us and there are 13.
A rise in COVID cases in Jefferson City schools made reinstating a mask mandate inevitable.
I just can't help but think about all the other people who they could possibly affect, or who, they could affect, and then it's just such a chain reaction, without masks.
JC Schools removed its original mask mandate on October 1st. According to Jefferson City School District's COVID-19 tracker, there are currently 44 active staff cases and 78 active student cases. In addition to masks, students who test positive or find they're a close contact will have to isolate for 5 days. Then if students are symptom and fever-free for 24 hours, they can return. Some Jefferson City High School students say they are noticing a difference with so many students and teachers out.
When our teachers aren't there, it's so much harder to learn. We're not really getting good knowledge, because our subs, they're not equipped to teach like our real teachers are. So it's just so much better when our real teachers can be there and can be healthy.
Though not everyone agrees with the reinstatement, many JCHS students say they just want to get back to a sense of normalcy again. The district said in a statement the ongoing sub shortage has become, quote, increasingly more difficult, and they are thankful for the staff stepping up amid the shortages. Now, I did reach out to them again for further comment, but I haven't heard back yet. In the studio, Lucy Kale, KOMU8 News.
Okay, Lucy, thank you. And as she mentioned there, the bigger piece to this real national puzzle of the issues we're seeing in school districts across the country right now, nationally, right, is finding substitutes to then take the place of teachers who test positive or they're a close contact for whatever reason they need to quarantine. I want to show you this. This is the district's sub fill rate. So it's how many teachers are out and how many substitutes the district then needs to find. So the most recent numbers, almost 500 subs needed, and the district could only find about 220. And there's a bigger picture locally here too. Boone County also broke another record. Emma, I understand you got more on those numbers?
Yeah, Noah, the most recent numbers from the Boone County Health Department today came